Hi Flosstube, I hope all's well. My name is Kirsty, Crafting Kirsty, here on YouTube and also over on Instagram. It is Tuesday the 5th of September. It has been yet another 10 weeks since I last posted a video. But I have quite a long video I think today. I have got cross stitching, quilting, knitting and crochet, but I have a lot of haul, which I'll speak about later. I think probably save a bit of the life stuff to the end just to see how how long this video is, but generally all is good here. So cross stitching wise, I have been working on 4 projects. I will show you. I did have these all organised in little order, but it's gone out the window. So we have the Huntsman from the Scarlet Letter, and these are the colours. This is all DMC I'm using. Oh gosh, that's not doing very well. Sorry. There we go. So these are all DMC, and I'm doing this, I think it's 25 count Lugana, and it's just in a sort of creamy off-white. But here we go. This is how far I've got so far. So I wanted to, my aim for this summer was to get the top bit filled in, which I have. Sorry, I might just move you slightly to the, is that any better? No, I think it's just me that's the problem. I'm in the way. Try again, we'll get there in a minute. Okay, here we go. So my aim was to get this all filled in. It is all fairly well filled in, with the exception of a couple of leaves on the tree and this little section here. I've been really enjoying this. This has done the purpose that I intended it to do, which was I was going to work on it throughout the summer, because once I'd outlined it, I would then just be able to sit in the garden and fill it in really without needing the chart. And that's exactly what I've been doing. So it's worked really well. I just keep on running out of the flosses. So I'm going to get that. My plans for that one is to get it finished, or to get that section finished, and then put it away for a couple of months, and then I think I'll probably get it back out again November time, see if I can do a few more, to do the next section of it sort of here outlined, so I can fill it in over Christmas time when I'm just looking for some easy stitching. So that was whip number 1. Whip number 2 that I've been working away on is the Morris Dancer, an adapted Maria Cooper sampler 1790 from GigiR. The photo is next to useless, to be honest with you. So I am working this on a piece of 27 count Linda, so it is absolutely massive. I bought this I don't know where my flosses are. Oh, it doesn't matter. So I bought this in March 2022 when I was at the Essex Needles retreat. And then a group of us, so Ellie Welly Stitcher, Janet Dodd, Penelope Pins, and Chris Hind, who's at Bronte Stitcher, and myself, all started it in the May of 2022. Just sort of started it and poodled along on it. And I decided to make it my aim to get this finished for this year, by the end of September, when I go to the Hands Across the Sea samplers retreat, the hats retreat in Swindon. So at the end of September. So I have now completed, so I have to stand up for this because it is a bit of a bed sheet. So I've now completed the entire top section. I hope you can still hear me. There are a few originalities, uniquenesses, whatever, however you want to call them. I'm now working on this middle section here, this row of green going across. So that's all satin stitch, and then there's flowers coming down that are also satin stitched. And there's a very pale border. Have I started it? Yes, I've started at that end. That will also go along. And then the bottom section is all done with the exception of the man and the lady and a few motifs above them. So whilst I am feeling a little bit of pressure to get it done by September, the end of September, I do think it is actually achievable if I just get on with it. So slight differences, and this is, to me, I found this is a bit of a debate with your symmetrical projects. So I had stitched, I think the cherubs are fine, it was the birds actually. So I stitched that bird first. I was really pleased, I got on with it and got it done. And then I didn't really want to go and do the second one because I was a bit bored of it, to be honest with you. By the time I came back to it, I'd forgotten how many strands I'd used, and I started off just using 2. And of course I hadn't, I'd used 3. So, you know, up close, there's a bit of a difference. But you know, on a wall, in a frame, it'll be fine. So yeah, so obviously the majority of my stitching for this month will be on that, to try and get it finished by the end of the month. So that will be quite exciting. I've had 2 new starts. So my first new start was actually my birthday start, which was at the beginning of July. And I had decided a good while ago that I wanted to get Elizabeth Beaven 1835 from Hands Across the Sea Samplers. This is actually my first Hands Across the Seas chart. Hands Across the Sea chart. Love it, love it, love it. Yeah, it's really good. Lots of information, lots of diagrams, a sort of a floss code on the side of each page, so you're not constantly back and forth. And with this one, oh sorry, these are the flosses again. It's all DMC. I'm a DMC girl, I'm afraid, with the exception of one project. So all DMC. And with this project, I bought myself a piece of 35 count lamb's wool by Perman. And I normally stitch in hand, and that's absolutely fine. And I could see it to stitch in hand, but it's a really stiff fabric, which I don't mind. And actually, it's yet again, it's another BAP. It's 311 wide by 461 high. And I was just struggling to bunch all of the stiff fabric up in one hand to then stitch on it. So I have purchased, and you'll see the chart. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to stand up again, I think. So anyway, so that's the start. I've just started in the top, right, I started my usual top, well, whichever corner it is that you're looking at it from. And that's what I've done so far. This is 2 over 2. As I said, it's 30. Is it 2 over 2 or is it 1? You see, I can't even remember that now. I think it'd be 1 actually. I think it's 1 over 2, 35 count. But I bought myself one of these frames, most of which you can't see because it's covered by the fabric. So this is an, hold it up there so you can see the bit, sort of. This is an American Dream Oak E to Z stitch frame, which translating into American, I should imagine is an American Dream Oak E to Z easy stitch frame. And I bought the 30-inch, sort of heavyweight 30-inch off of Amazon. As you can see, oh God, have I just broken one of the threads? I've had to thread it at the side to get it taut enough. The woman on the video just seemed to be able to wind it up and it was tight enough. I couldn't quite get it that tight. So I've put those on the sides. I know you can use the braces, which I might look at getting the next time I go somewhere that sells braces. But I'm really happy with it, and I got that from Amazon. Sorry, I've got a new setup. Oh, sorry, I keep moving. You're on a tripod now, and it wobbles every time I touch the table, so that's not great. Anyway, so sorry, that was my birthday start. Elizabeth Beaven, 1835, Hands Across the Sea sampler. Lots of lovely motifs in that one. And then my final start was August the 1st, and this is the 3rd year now. We've started a fancy blanket from Pineberry Lane cross stitch. So Elaine and I, so myself, Elaine, Ellie Welly Stitcher on Instagram and YouTube, Alison, who's the Stitching Whippet on Instagram, and Ali Stitcher on Instagram, have all started this way. So you'll have to excuse it, it's black and white, I'm cheap like that. PDF printout. And I know Alison has finished hers. I'm not sure how far along Ali Stitcher is with hers. And from Elaine's last video, I'm further than she is. Woo! So again, all DMC, I think mainly the called for floss, I might have picked one out. I was just trying to stitch it from stash, to be honest with you. And this is being stitched on, I think this is 32 count, but I'm not sure. So this is how far I've got. Really enjoying it. And the fabric I just found on the top of a whole pile of fabric. And it's very nice fabric, and I should imagine I've set it aside for something specific. And when I get to that specific project, I'll think, oh, I've used that very nice fabric for this. But anyway, I don't know what it is, where it's from, but I think it's either 32 or I think it's 32. Whatever, it fits. So those are the only 4 pieces I've worked on. As I said, I've already talked about my plans for the Huntsman. Just get that filled in and then put it away for a while. Obviously, Morris Dancer, I want to try and get that finished for the end of September. The October ride, I'll just pick up and put a few stitches in every now and again, if I'm getting bored with the Morris Dancer. And ditto for my birthday start as well. I just wanted to get it started. But I'll probably obviously take that one with me to the retreat, because that's probably what we should do. So haul. I have a lot of haul. It's a bit, not awkward, because I don't care. But I know Stitchy Sally was saying in her last video, or 2 videos before, you know, she really, she didn't know what to do next year, and she was going to stitch from stash and have a no-buy year. And, you know, what did we think? Or she knew she would struggle, and, you know, just basically asking for opinions. And so I emailed her saying, you know, do exactly what you want, obviously. But I had found that this year, at the beginning of the year, I had reorganised all of my craft stuff into one room, and I decided that any time I saw, because rather than just impulse buying, which we all do, which there isn't an issue with if you're happy to do it, rather than impulse buying, I was going to write down the projects I'd seen on various floss tubes that I'd gone, oh, I must have that immediately. And when it came to my birthday, I would go and buy them. And this mainly stems from the fact that when I went to the Essex Needles retreat this year, having gone through the stash, there were a lot of projects there, or a lot of charts there that actually I couldn't even remember buying. I had no intention of stitching. And so I'd taken them with me and either put them on the sort of, you know, for sale table, or just on the freebie table, or what have you. And it just made me a bit cross with myself that I'd spent the money and not used it. I'm quite happy to spend the money if I use it, but just when I sort of not used, or, and just so basically just to stop this impulse purchasing, that's what I was going to do. So that's what I told her I'd done. And I sort of said, maybe you could do that. But obviously her birthday, I think, is either November or possibly even December. So that doesn't work fantastically well. Or I said, you know, maybe do it over 3 months or 6 months. Just write everything down, because we're all not guilty of it. We all do it. Particularly when we're watching Carol the Saltbot Stitcher, we all go, oh, must have that chart. And, you know, they're sort of £7-8, so it's not out of the way for the majority of people. And you just go, oh yeah, I'll buy that, I'll buy that, I'll buy that. And, you know, I already know I have more charts than I'm ever going to be able to stitch. And the thing with cross-stitch charts is they don't go out of print as quickly as, say, quilting fabric does. So actually you can give it 6 months or a year and then go back, or however many months and then go back. And the other thing I did was I have basically ignored all the markets. I got completely caught up in market fever the first year that I was cross-stitching and on YouTube and watching Flosstube. And yeah, it's just I don't need to do it. But that's just me. You do what you want to do. But it was my birthday in July, so I now have a humongous amount of haul. And that's fine. What I was doing, so what I had said to her was, obviously when I either felt the need to buy something or what have you, I would go to a various shop and just go through my wish list and add things to my wish list. So I had a wish list with Hands Across the Sea, wish list with Brenda Keys. Oh God, I didn't actually say what her shop, the sample company, sorry. In fact, where's the... No, that's not it. Sorry, I don't have Brenda Keys on the go at the moment. Sorry, ignore that. But I did go to the sample company, had a wish list there. 1, 2, 3 stitch, massive wish list there. So yeah, I was just going through all the cross stitching shops and putting things on my wish list, and then I went back to them. And what I found, particularly because I wrote things down in my little book, and I'd written 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cross stitches that I'd gone, I've got to have that. And actually when I came back to the list, quite a few of them I couldn't even remember what they looked like. But I could always, for the last year, I've always been able to remember what this is like, because I really, really wanted it. So 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4 of them I've just crossed out because actually I haven't gone back a second, third time. Not that fussed. Maybe in 50 years time I might be interested. So anyway, so that, it's worked for me. All I'm saying is it's worked for me. I've now had a big splurge. I've bought lots of stuff, and I'll probably do the same thing in December or January. I will just write a list, make up those wish lists again, and then go back to it. So that was because I know the last Stitchy Sally's last video, she sort of mentioned that I'd sort of emailed her and she was talking about what she was going to do with the stash. And so that was just where my thinking had come from it from. But, you know, as always, you do you. So, are you ready? The first chart is Sampler Hair by La Di Da. So I'd said, I think at the beginning of this year or at the end of last year that I was looking for these, sorry, it's really hot here. I was looking for these sort of hair charts that you could actually make into hairs to sit on the sideboard. So I bought that one. This was from 123 Stitch. I've loved this for absolutely years. This is Rocking Horse Holiday from artfulofferings.com. Love it, love it, love it. Might not do the alphabet, might take the numbers out and just put some presents or something under it, or might not put anything under it. I bought, this is the Good Shepherd, which is part 4 of Jenny Bean for the Parlour by Shakespeare's Peddler. Now I bought this one because last year, I think there's something like 8 or 9, and I'd bought 6 or 7 of them. Left this one, and I've left the alphabet out. And I'm not sure there isn't one that isn't just a sort of pretty motif. Left that out. But then I decided I was going to go back and get this one. So I now think I've got 6 of those, possibly. Yeah, and I'll just do them all together. That's another big chart I'm looking forward to starting at some point. I bought Hair Summer from Plum Street Samplers. I have got quite a few of these. She has a lot of them, you know, autumn, winter, Halloween, Christmas, Easter, blah, blah, blah. I do like my Scarlet Letters, and I do particularly like these. They're not tapestries, but just, yeah, I just like these sort of styles. So it's a bit like the Huntsman that I'm doing now. I've got 2 or 3 more of those. And so I bought an All Was for an Apple. This is a derivative 17th century English canvas work picture. It's very nice. One to start again in many years to come. I also bought from the Scarlet Letter a parrot, a leopard, a lion, not to be confused with, I think, is it a unicorn, a badger and a squirrel or something? I have got that chart, but I can't remember. Anyway, so you've got 2 charts with 3 different animals on them. I don't think from the look of it that that one is actually full coverage. Oh no, fill in the background using tent stitch. Oh, okay. So yeah, so that one, background's filled in using tent stitch, and this one. I like these sort of because they're full coverages, but they're block stitching, which is always very good. And does it say, sorry, I'm just quickly. No, it doesn't tell you on this one. And they're not filled in, so this one could just be just on a plain piece of linen. Yeah. So those were the 2 Scarlet Letters I bought. I also bought Hannah Katerina, a German sampler dated 1734. Oh, by the Scarlet Letter again. There's just so many motifs on that one. It's absolutely fabulous. And there isn't a huge border. Sorry, I'm just trying to see which way. It's the afternoon here. It's very hot. It's very sunny. I think you get a better view that way. Huge bird, multicoloured bird down at the bottom. It's a lot of motifs. And then the last one I bought from 123 Stitch is the ATS sampler, 1871 by GigiR. Now, I had seen this one when we were looking through all the GigiR charts at the Essex Needles Retreat in 22. And I'd always really, really liked it, but I hadn't seen anyone else stitching it. Not that that means I wouldn't stitch it, I just, you know, I hadn't. I ordered it, and then the very next day, I think it's Paisley Stitcher, and I can't remember the lady's name. She's had a brief hiatus from Flosstube, and she came back talking about what she'd been working on. And she's been working on this piece. She had started this piece in her absence, and she's got quite a long way with it, and it looks absolutely fantastic. I love it. I think so. Basically, this section is this area enlarged, and this is all alphabets and sort of just borders. I probably won't do that. Mine will probably end up like this with the extra bird on the top and the blank space next to it, which I might or might not fill in. So those all came from 123 Stitch. So that was exciting when that arrived. And then I bought from Brenda Key's Sampler Company, Church on the Hill. Possibly again, won't be doing the wording and the lettering. I just love the picture and love it. It looks like there's an absolute, I'm sure it's supposed to be a peacock, but from the sizing to everything else, it looks a bit more like a sort of pterodactyl. But yeah, so I really like that. I also bought The Sailor's Wife from Brenda Key's Sampler Company. Love that, and it says, "For my dearest love, he works upon the sea, on the waves that blow wild and free. He splices the ropes and he mends the sails, while southward he rolls to the home of the whale." And then the last one I bought was the Town and Country Sampler. So this one says, "If all mankind would live in mutual love, this world would much resemble that above," which, I don't know, I might change that for something else. But again, just lots of, I really like these sort of I don't know, I think a lot of samplers you get just motifs, don't you, whereas I quite like these pictures. So, that was that from the Sampler Company. You've already seen my Elizabeth Beaven. And then obviously, when I went on to download my Pineberry Lane Fancy Blanket, I had to buy a couple more. So I bought, these are all black and white, I'm sorry. I bought Merry Christmas Hanging Pillow. There's a theme here. I bought God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen. So whilst these all are black and white, they are all actually quite primitive in colour as well. And this one, which is just, Bringing Home the Tree. Whew. So that's it. That is all the cross stitch haul. See, I think I've got enough charts to keep me going for a little while. We shall see. But yeah, I don't really intend on buying anything now until sort of Christmas or January. And again, I'll just do the same thing. I'll keep on making notes, keep on adding things to my wish list. And then, yeah, it's quite interesting that my 123 Stitch wish list was huge. And as I went back, I just go, no. So anyway, that's the end of the cross stitching. If that's all you're here for, thank you very much for joining me. And I hope to be back beginning of October after I've been to the hats retreat, so that'll be quite exciting. Lots of stuff to talk about, no doubt, after that. So we'll go on to quilting. The only quilt I have worked on this summer has been my Jen Kingwell Caution, so I've got some notes down there, Jen Kingwell Caution Curves Ahead quilt. I haven't got the photo of it at the moment because my iPad has run out of juice, but if you're desperate to see it, you can either go back to a previous Flosstube where I do tend to show a picture of it, or you can Google it and it'll come straight up. I have finally got there with my applique. So this is block 1 that I can't remember what I showed in my last video, I'm afraid. This is block 1 that I started. I've tried about 8 different times, eventually got there. I'm now just using the heat and bond. These haven't been stitched around yet. I had a day at one of my quilting days, and I just spent a whole load of time cutting these out and appliquing them on. So we've got these big, these are all various months, and you get one applique block per month that you normally do about 3 times, make 3 of them. There's 4 of this one, so that's out of the window already. And then you get 1 block that you can hand piece or machine plate piece. So I can't remember which months are which, but you can see, so these are hand pieced. Basically it's all curves, I found it okay. Talk about that a bit more in a minute. This one I have starched the hell out of this. You can play tennis off this. And then this block, oh, this one really tried my patience. So you've got this. So these really small ones, or what was happening? I think I was just struggling like mad with doing this hand piecing. So I thought, right, I'll try it on the machine. So I think the big one was easy enough to machine piece. I think the middle one was okay, and the little one I couldn't, I had to hand piece it. So this is a real mixture of the two, and then I have hand pieced it. Some of these, so this one I've hand pieced then the individual bits together. But anyway, so I'm just doing it as I can to get it done, if that makes sense. Because some of them I can't seem to make them work. There was a lot of rude words as I was trying to get these done. And then I started on the next big piece block, which is this one. Now this one on the sewing machine was actually reasonably easy. So I'm finding at the moment that the smaller the curve, or the smaller the actual 2 pieces that you're trying to stitch together, the harder it is. But you know, I am enjoying it, and it's just a case of keeping on going. So yeah, so those are what I have made over this summer. And then haul-wise, so I'm just going to have to, it's about 28 here, and I thought the top I'm wearing, which I'll talk about in my knitting, wouldn't be too hot. But it is. So, this is a happy harvest. The harvest time, I do a lot of corn carting, so I sit on a tractor waiting for the combine to tell me it's full, and I have to run alongside the combine, and it fills up my tractor and trailer, or it fills up my trailer, and then I poodle off down the road with it and empty it at the bins in the yard. And we've had quite a wet harvest, so the combine's been going that bit slower, and both twins were around to help as well on certain fields. And so there were times when I was just able to sit and thumb through my phone. And I suppose because we're working all the time and not doing anything else, I think, well, I'm not really spending any money. And then Doughty's always send me emails with 10% off various ranges. So this was one of those, sitting waiting for the combine. I went, oh, that's nice, 10% off, I might have to get this. So this is the William Morris. I don't know how many collections there are, because I don't know quite which one this is, and I don't think it says Morris Meadow. I don't know though, because as I said, I was just ordering it sitting on a tractor. But I have got a whole load of gorgeous, I might do these individually, William Morris prints. So I'd seen these at the shows a lot and thought, oh yes, you know, yeah, okay, I like them. But I hadn't really bothered to get around to buying them. And then I thought, well, I'm going to get them. And I bought a fat quarter of each fabric. The only slight when it arrived was they've cut it as a long fat quarter, which I wasn't expecting, but it doesn't really matter because I'm only going to cut it into smaller pieces anyway. But yes, that was a bit of that's a bit unusual. Don't you normally have that? And we go, oh, I might not go through all of these, there are quite a few. We've got some greens. Big prints, small prints. Love this, love this. And what does that remind you of? The flowers on all of these sorts of charts. Definitely a theme here of what I do and don't like. Some more greens. Oh, some lovely, lovely blues. This is just so pretty. Is that? I don't. There isn't a right way up. There aren't birds in this. Yeah. So there's lots of blues, greens, and beige and brown, really. There's no reds, apart from small bits on the pieces, but there's no sort of red backgrounds or what have you. Yes, so that was a big purchase in the middle of harvest. And then last week I went down to Duxford to the Duxford Quilt Show. It's held at the Air Museum, Imperial Air Museum. I picked up some Halloweeny fabric, so I've got that one. That's upside down, that one. And then this is the same, it's just on the orange. So I thought I'd make myself a table runner, or a table mat, or a table cover for, table topper in fact, for Halloween. I'm just going to find a couple of plainer fabrics to put in and just do something very simple. So I saw this hanging up, and it was a completed quilt, and I assumed that she had either stamped it on or used the stencils like that I've used before. But actually when you got up closer to it and spoke to the lady about it, it's all batik fabrics, and it was just stunning, absolutely stunning. It's not huge, I don't think it says on here, but I thought, oh, because I've got a lot of batiks in stash, so I thought, right, I'm going to have to buy it, and you get all the templates here to make that with. So this is Gail Lowther. Gail Lowther's Quick Quilts Garden Samplers, so all the vegetables. And then this is just other ways to display it or to put it all together. Whilst I was there, I also picked up her Christmas Samplers booklet, Gail Lowther again, and again, mainly for all the templates in the back, just so that I've got it for when I want to do some applique stuff. I've got the templates. And then the only other thing I bought was a kit. And this lady was closing down her stall, unfortunately, or closing down her shop. I don't know how to say it. The Veg Quilting Vibe. I don't know. I'm sorry. That's what it is. And that is the quilt that the kit is going to make. It's called the Jewel Box. And hang on, let's see if I've got a slightly better. There you go. So that's essentially what you end up with. So it's a Jacob's ladder with sort of a, I don't know quite what you'd call this actually. The other middle piece. Try and show you this bit again. So you've got the Jacob's ladder, and then, no, that's not the right bit. Anyone would think I hadn't looked through this and thought about what I was going to say. No, okay. Well, so in between the Jacob's ladder, you have the squares, and the squares are made up of 4 different fabrics. But it's all very scrappy, and I bought it because I absolutely love the fabrics, and I just thought it's very nice. I'm not going to get these all out, I'm afraid. Very nice autumnal colours. And I thought very good value for what it was. So, might try and get that done at some point. And I think that's it for quilting. I am obviously going to carry on with my Jen Kingwell Cautions Curves Ahead. I would like to start or crack on with my Jane Austen coverlet, which I haven't done anything on. And then I've got those 2. So the autumn table topper and the Halloween table topper that I might try and fit in if I get a bit of time. So that's it for quilting, and we'll now go on to knitting and crochet, which the haul is still coming. So the first, sorry, I'm going to I've had to spread everything around to fit it all on. So let me just grab a few things. So we'll start with the knitting. So my first finished object are actually 2 separate objects. I can't remember, I didn't go back and watch, I can't remember what I showed in my last video. So I have now got 1 completed sock. This is Crazy Lady, Kay the Crazy Sock Lady. Not just Crazy Lady, a Crazy Sock Lady. This is just her vanilla sock on Magic Loop, which I really enjoy. Magic Loop is by far and away the easiest, I think, for me. So I finished 1. I didn't start the second one because we were going away for a week and I wanted to take a sock project with me. And I got rather ahead of myself and thought, well, if I get it done within the first 3 or 4 days, what am I going to do for the rest of the week? So I actually brought out my Bobby Dazzler sock. So this is, oh, sorry. This yarn came from Alison, Stitching Whippet. And she gave it to me at the Essex Needles retreat this year. So thank you, Alison. And then this is my Bobby Dazzler yarn, and this came from Rachel, Stitchy Rach, on YouTube and on Instagram. And she sent me this because I'd said that I was starting to knit socks, and so she sent me a whole box full of a yarn and double pointed needles and 9-inch circulars and things, and I did try all of those, and it wasn't for me. I'm afraid Magic Loop is my thing. But yeah, so this is the one that I made whilst we were travelling abroad. It doesn't look very special. It fits. I haven't blocked it, I haven't washed it because I haven't made the other one, but it does. It is a sock and it does fit, and it's great. And I got it finished. I could have finished it by the time we got home, but I'd forgotten to take my darning needle with me. And I was really tired by the time we were on the flight on the way home. So I think I probably only had the toe decreases, and then I just tied it up the next day. So I now have a odd pair of socks. So I'm no longer going to be the mad woman hopping around on one leg. I'll just be the mad woman walking around with 2 very different socks. But I will, now I've finished this, I will get my sock knitting going again. And then because I wanted to practice my Magic Loop, I made these. And these are called Toast from, and I have made a pair of these before, but with the wrong yarn, and it just went all terribly wrong. And this is a pattern from Leslie Friend, who on Ravelry, who is a friend to knit with on YouTube. I love her videos. So basically, they're sort of wrist warmers, essentially, and then you can just pull them up a bit if you want to. But I have a tighter cast off than cast on, I think. But anyway, they fit, so they're fine. And that was just yet more practice for Magic Loop and a very easy cast stitching project. So my final finished object is my biggie, the biggie, and this is the home camisole from Caidree, and I found it on Ravelry. So I'll stand up so you can have a quick look. It should be, well, let me show you this pattern first. So that is what it is. So here we go. So it is just a very simple camisole. But I had a few, no, I didn't have actually that many issues. Well, I did, but nothing too serious. But my biggest issue has been the sizing. And it just came out so huge underneath the armpits, and my bra strap was showing, which I didn't like. So I've ended up going across and knitting across, or picking up stitches and knitting a sort of a section across to try and cover it up a bit more, which isn't the neatest, but it'll do. It's a bit of a shame because, you know, I had hoped that this would be smart enough that I could wear it out. I don't think it is now. It's very nice. I'll wear it around the house and I'll wear it in the garden and walking the dog and that sort of thing. But I was hoping it was going to be a slightly smarter pattern or smarter finish. It's a smart pattern. I just haven't knitted it all that well. And it is just the sizing. It's, yeah, I didn't. And I cast on and knitted to the bust measurement size recommended. And it fits everywhere else. It's fine. It's just too big there. But I did a provisional cast on. I only had to do 6 stitches on that, which took a little bit of time, so that's something new to learn. And I'm fine getting the stitches doing the provisional cast on. It's actually picking it back up afterwards that I struggled with, and certainly the 2 end stitches, because they seemed to sort of twist a bit and I didn't quite know what I was doing. I have done an 3-stitch I-cord bind off, which going round the waist was, that took a little bit of time. But actually once you got into it, it was fine, but I really did have to think about it. And I do like the look of it, but I think again, I've done it from the wrong sides on these strap bits. And what else? So you knit the 2 triangles on the front and the 2 triangles on the back, and then you join it all together in the round. And I managed to do that the first time without twisting anything up. But it was a bit of a logistical manoeuvre to get that done. So I like it. I've used Sheepy's Merino soft brush in the colour Toorop, Toorop, colour 252. So I bought this yarn when we were down in St Ives in June. Yes, in June, specifically to make this top with. And I went into the shop and I said to the lady, I'd like to make this top. Do you have the yarn? She said, no. I said, do you have an equivalent yarn, exchangeable yarn? She said, yes, you can use this. And I sort of got about the top done and probably about that much done around the chest. I'm going to run out of yarn. And so I went online, and she obviously doesn't have a great online store because she didn't come up when I put in this and the colour. But Lovecrafts came up, but they only had 1 ball left. And I think I still had 1 ball, but I knew that I just wasn't going to have enough. So I bought it thinking, well, I better get it because there's only 1 left. Didn't think anything of it. Stitched down, finished the body, did the I-cord bind off. And there was no way, absolutely no way I was going to have enough left to do the I-cord binding on the V's at the front and the back and around the armholes. And so I thought, well, I'll go back to the original shop just in case. So I emailed her and said, I don't suppose. And she said, well, I have got 1 ball, left. I'll send it to you. I'm on holiday, but I'll send it to you. So she did, absolutely, fantastic. Sent it to me straight away. It arrived 24 hours later. But of course, I've got different dye lots, which I didn't notice as I was knitting it. So it's all right here. There is a dark bit here, which you can't really see at the moment. But then when you go down here, there's a very definite pale band there. And that's the one from Lovecrafts. So if I'd have used the one that she sent me, if I'd contacted her first, that probably would have been better, fitted in better, and then it would have just been the I-cord, which would have been a slightly different colour, which you're not going to notice anyway. And I didn't notice, as I said, I was knitting away quite happily, didn't notice it, and it wasn't until I put it in to block it. So I was like, oh, that's going very dark, and that bit isn't going very dark. And then I got it out and dried it, or sort of rolled it up and then pinned it out. So there's very definitely a line, which, it's down at the bottom, and I hadn't noticed the bit across the middle really. And then sort of a friend of mine said, well, at least it looks deliberate. And I was thinking, well, it's only one little bit. And then as it's been hanging up in my bedroom, I noticed there's definitely a circle around the tummy as well. But I think, it's fairly loose. Tuck the front bit in, you won't see it anyway. And yeah, you live and you learn. And the main lesson from that is always to buy extra wool than you think you're going to need. So that was that. My next plan obviously is to do the 2 socks. So I actually have 2 matching pairs of socks. And then I've got a whole load of wool here that I want to turn into just really, really, really simple jumpers, so that I can get that under my belt and work out what I'm doing. And that was the other thing, I did stitches underneath the arm and then to join the back and the front. Yeah, anyway. So stitchy haul, there is quite a lot of this as well. Again, happy harvest trigger finger. But this first one actually came from Spain. So we had a week's holiday in Spain. We toured around in the north, in the Basque area. And it wasn't until I got back to Biarritz. I had managed to get into one yarn shop previous to that, which I wish I'd bought stuff in now. Kicking myself I didn't. Got to Biarritz the day before flying home. And so I went rushing up to the local yarn shop. There were 2 and I went to the first one because it was nearest. It was just one of those shops. I left John outside, parked him outside with the bag, so I didn't even go in with a rucksack on or anything. Now, we had been travelling for a week, probably wasn't smelling that pleasant, but I didn't think I was looking that bad. And she just hovered. She was there. And it was sort of, well, what are you looking for? I said, well, I'm on holiday, I just want to buy some yarn so I can make something to remember my holiday with. How about socks? So, well, it's not really the right weather for sock yarn, is it? Okay, fine. Admittedly, it is the middle of summer in Biarritz, but, do you not have anything in stock? And then I was sort of looking, and so came across, and I was looking at this yarn, and it was just very much as I took something off, as I went to put it back, she'd sort of grab it and go, oh, I'll put that back, I'll put that back. And I just wasn't enjoying the experience. So I think I was in there for about 4 minutes in total. I'm going to take 2 of those and I'm going to leave now, thank you very much. So I have bought Katia Superwash Basic Merino Tweed, which is 52% virgin wool, 48% acrylic. And I just got this in it's pinks and purples and browns and yellows and obviously mainly cream. I only bought 2 balls because I think that was all that she had of this particular colour. And as I said, I just wanted to get out of there really. I've no idea what I'm going to do with it. I will probably try and either use it as a stripe within jumper. If I had it in a dark sort of blue jumper, you could use this for striping, or I don't know. We shall see. Yet to be decided, but that will be my Spain reminder. It's not the best reminder. And then, as I said, trigger happy, woolly knit. Keep on having lots of summer offers. So I bought 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, because they came in packs of 5. 5 Warth Mill yarns, Saddleworth. Shade Khaki Nep. And I think this is just 100% wool. But it's this green, so I get from that side. No, that's even worse. Sorry, back to this side. Green with flecks of whites and greys and yeah, just a khaki colour. I got a 5 balls again of the shade Steel, which is, that is just as it is. There's no sort of flex in it or no real variation. It is just that grey, which is very nice. And then I bought this because I've been watching lots of knitting videos, YouTube, not Flosstubes, knitting podcasts they're called. I'm watching a lot of them. And a lot of people knit with 2 strands. They buy a sort of 4-ply and then they hold it together with a mohair or what have you. So obviously I wouldn't need to do that with this. Might be a bit scratchy. I'll just have to wear a long sleeved top underneath it. So that I can just knit by itself, just to make a very simple jumper. So I thought, right, I'm going to treat myself and I'm going to buy myself some 4-ply so that I can mix it with some mohair to make a jumper that's that sort of fluffy. Just, it looks really, really nice. And I thought once I've done a few jumpers and I know what I'm doing, the next step then is to try and do with 2 strands. So I bought 4-ply classics, 100% merino wool, machine washable. And I've got, now that is blowing out completely. This is Barbie pink. It's not bright. It's not, but it is pink. It is pink. It's a proper pink. But you really can't see it at the moment. Maybe if I come to this side. Little bit. It's a little bit stronger than that. But yeah. Anyway, so I was a bit like, oh. I think I was hoping more for a sort of dusty rosy pink, or yeah. But anyway, I think eventually when I get around to using this, if I get a darker, sort of a dark pink or mohair to mix with it, hopefully it will just tone it down that little bit, because this is not me. But I'm sure it will be me once I've mixed it with something else. I mean, I suppose I could get away with wearing it. I think I'll probably wear it and then have something a bit darker around my neck, a scarf or something. But yes, so is that all the... Yep, that's all the yarn purchases, which is a good thing too, because I am a slow knitter, so quite what I thought. The problem is they're always on sale, and I don't get it until it's on sale, and then I think, well, and having learned from this, I now sort of think, well, you might as well get enough so you don't have to go back again, which is why I seem to have ended up with a lot of yarn. And then the final thing I bought, and I picked this up from Hobbycraft actually the other day, is this Hayfield Bonus Aran Tweed. Has it actually got a proper name? Waistcoats and Scarf. And I like the waistcoats, so I like that green waistcoat or the blue waistcoat. I really, really like that. Although obviously it's got cabling. So again, that's an in the future project. And it's obviously got buttons. Although I do think the button band is knitted at the same time as the body. I don't think you go back and pick it up, which I would assume is going to be a bit easier. But yeah, so that's a future project for many, many years down the line when I might actually know what I'm doing. And then finally, crochet. Battered pattern Fireside Blanket from Attic 24. I bought this last September, I think, or last autumn, and said I was definitely going to put it away because I was already working on one at the time, and then I decided I would bring it out this summer because I thought it would be quite good to do all the little squares again in the garden, so I haven't got a big blanket on my lap in the summer. Which is what I have done, and I went gung-ho on this until I then got into this, and then I went gung-ho on this, but I am now, I think I've got 2 rows left to do of the border, and then I have finished. I have loved doing this, loved it. I'm going to hold it up this side so then you can see. And so I started off with these, so you do the first one obviously individually, and then you connect them along as they go along, and then you go down. And then it all joins together. And to be honest with you, the weather's been a bit naff this summer. So actually, even when I was doing this middle section, I had sort of 2 all. And you've only really got that part on your lap as you're joining it. So so all the way around, you're only joining it in the last row. So you can do all of this bit on your lap without a heavy blanket on you. So yes, so I've just got 2 more rows to go, and then it's done and dusted. I've really enjoyed it. I was showing this to my friends the other day at the quilt group, and again, I still think it's such good value. So you get the pattern and you get everything you need for it, all in the kit from the Wool Warehouse. They stock, I think they're probably the only people that stock her stuff. They stock all of Attic 24's patterns and kits. And I mean, I think it was sort of 30 odd pounds, which, considering you get a pattern and 12 balls of yarn, and I think one of the yarns I was playing yarn chicken with, the rest of them I've got more than enough left, to be honest with you. And this is using the Stylecraft Highland Heathers DK, and so they're all slightly variegated or sort of yeah, they're slightly variegated, so I don't know. You see, you get light purples and dark purples in that. And here we go, we've got sort of greens and blues in that one, but then you get other ones. So this one is just a plain orangey one, but a lot of them are that sort of varied colour. And yeah, I've really enjoyed making it, really enjoyed working on it. Can't wait to get it finished. That's now my 3rd Attic 24 crochet blanket that I will have completed in the last couple of years. I've really enjoyed all of them. So that's it. That's the end. That's all I've got. What are we up to? Oh, 56. Brief life update. We had harvest. It went well. It was a bit wet, which makes it hard work for John. Other than that, you know, it's all done and dusted now. As I said, we had our week in Spain, in northern Spain, going around the Basque Country. We did 6 cities and a mountain in 6 or 7 days. My daughter has moved into her first flat with her boyfriend down in Bath. She's got her job, so that's been all exciting. We've been down to see that. And that's about it, really. Yeah, it's glossed over it, but that's about it. So I think I've spoken about all my plans, and I hope to be back at the beginning of October once I've come home from the hats retreat in Swindon. If you're going, I look forward to seeing you there. If you're going, and either you watch my videos and I haven't met you, or I have met you, please do come back up and say hello again, because I am a bit crap. I'm not crap, I can remember people, I just can't remember how or why. So if I'm standing there staring at you blankly, it's because of the blank look on my face, is because in the back going, I know her from somewhere, where do I know her from? And so please do just come up and say hello. And if I walk past you and just give you a brief smile and not go, oh, hello, I'm not being rude, I'm just being a bit crap. So please make sure you come up and say hello. So excited, I can't wait. Right, I will see you all next month. Take care, bye.